Hey, it's Lori with Nelson Farms, and I'm super excited today because some friends of ours gave us this huge cast iron pan, and I'm going to show you how we're going to clean it up. Before we actually start seasoning the pan, we got to get this rust off and get it really good and clean. So to do that, I'm going to use some baking soda. I'm going to use plain baking soda. I'm going to add some water and make a paste in my bowl. This is the consistency I like. You're also going to need something to scrub that baking soda mixture in good. So you can use a few things. If the rust is not in really deep, you can use a paper towel or a soft scrub. If it's in a little tougher, you can use a pretty soft bristled brush. That's what I'm going to start with. If it's really in there deep, you're going to probably have to get like steel wool or stainless steel scrubbers like this. I've got the back and the sides washed pretty good, so I'm going to take it and give it a really good rinse and see what else I need to work on. So there's still quite a bit of rust over on this really rusty side. So what I'm going to do is pull out the big guns and use the baking soda mixture with this. And if that doesn't get it off, we'll have to pull in vinegar. So you don't really want to use vinegar on your cast iron unless you really, really need to, because it does tend to strip it down. It can break down that metal. So last resort is going to be vinegar. We're going to try this next. So that took quite a lot of elbow grease. I really had to scrub it. I thought I was going to have to use the vinegar, but I haven't yet. And you know, like I feel pretty good about the back and the sides, and you know that it's good when you can get a white paper towel and rub it and there's nothing there. So the rust is off of the back and the sides. So let's move to the inside. And there's what it looks like. Much better. Actually, it didn't seem as bad as I thought it was going to be. Oh yeah, we got a good bit of that off. I'll do one more round and I think we'll be good with this. So I did add a little bit of vinegar to the inside just to make sure I got all that rust out. And you want to clean it pretty quickly after you put that vinegar in it. So I'm going to go ahead and scrub that down and then get that rinsed out really good. We're going to have to re-season this pan anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just want to make sure that we start with a really clean pan with no rust on it. I feel like we've done all we can do with this pan, so I'm going to do one last test. Use a white paper towel and see if any rust comes off, and it doesn't. So now we're ready to re-season it. I completely cleaned this cast iron pan, and when I was drying it, I saw some rust on the paper towel. So I redid it all. So I did exactly the same thing I did again. And now, no rust. It's good to go. So this is what it looks like. And we have stripped it down. I need to dry that good. We have stripped it down. So what I'm gonna do now is season it, finally. So I'm gonna turn the oven, preheat that on to 500, grab some oil, and show you guys how to do that. Rinse your cast iron off one more time, and then dry it really good. You don't want any wetness on it at all. I'm preheating my oven to 375, and I do keep aluminum foil on the bottom shelf so that if any of the oil drips, that's gonna catch it. So to season your cast iron pan, I'm using grapeseed oil. You can really use some people use olive oil, use whatever you prefer. I'm gonna be a little more generous than normal with this grapeseed oil because we stripped it so much. So you just put it in the pan, and you wanna make sure you get the sides and the bottom, even that top lip, the handle, and then you wanna get the back also. You don't wanna put too much oil on because you don't want it to get thick and sticky, but you can go a little more generous with it when you're seasoning. Now, here's that pan. Let's put it in the oven. This pan's heavy. When you put it in the oven, you want to put it face down like this so that any drippings can drip. So preheating is ready. I'll show you guys after I put it in. We're gonna cook it for an hour. Just like that. We're gonna let it cook for an hour. We're gonna take it out. We're gonna add some more oil. Do the same thing again. You can do it multiple times. I usually do it 3 times on something about that rusty. So we'll do this process 3 times, and then hopefully it'll be ready and we can cook with it. Our hour is up. So what we're gonna do now is take this out of the oven and give it another coating of that grapeseed. It's gonna be really hot, so be careful. Now we're gonna put it back in the oven for another hour. Putting it in just like we did last time. I'm probably gonna get this question, so I'm gonna go ahead and answer it. Do I not let the cast iron pan cool in between the coatings when I'm seasoning it? So I'm planning to do 3 or 4 coats. In between 1 and 2, I don't let it cool. After 2, like I have to leave the house, so it's gonna cool. So what I'll do after this second round is I'll turn the oven off and just let it sit in there, and it'll cool down naturally. And then once I get home, I'll do another coat and then see if it needs another one. So yes and no. You can let it cool. Some people swear by letting it cool. Other people say it doesn't matter. I found that honestly, it really doesn't matter. It just depends on your schedule and if you're gonna be around for hours at a time to do this. So this has been another hour. So this is the second time that it's been in the oven. So I'm gonna turn the oven off now and just let it cool because I have to leave. We'll check it when I get back and go for round number 3. So I pulled the cast iron out. This is after our 3rd round and it looks great. And I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna let it sit overnight. And I think I'm done with it. What I'm gonna do is probably cook something in it tomorrow and see how it does. Here's the final product. Looks good to me. So full disclosure, I actually went back and did that seasoning process one more time, baked it for another hour because I cooked an egg in it and the egg was not as non-sticky as I wanted it to be. Now we're good. So it took 4 cycles in the oven and 4 oiling cycles for it to get where it needed to get. How many times you're gonna have to do that is really dependent on how much you stripped it down, how much you're oiling it, how non-stick you want it to be. I like mine super non-stick, so I went with 4 times. So you're gonna find lots of variations if you look at the way different people season and clean their cast iron, and that's fine. There are really a lot of correct ways to do it, so just find the way that works for you. Hope that was helpful. We'll see you next time.